Welcome back to another episode of This C# Video Is Not For You. I'm Elliot Williams. This is a mini series where I teach myself how to code because I am an absolute beginner. If you've been following along, the last episode we've been talking about functions, and we're going to continue to talk about functions today and how to return objects within a function. With no further ado, let's jump right into it. So from the last episode, we have if statements. We also created functions, and we have a lot of duplicate code that we want to eliminate today. So the first thing I want to do is identify which code is repeatable. So I'm looking at my first if statement, right? So I got if name equals to nothing, try again, which is our function, and then we show or display the name to the user. So what we can do right now, we can actually get rid of this read line. Not necessarily get rid of it, but we're going to move it to our function because this line of code is repeated every single time we ask the user a question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, and then in my function I'm going to return, and let's call it answer. Actually, let's do return console.readline. So you see we have an error here, and the reason why we have this error is because this function, we told it that it does not return anything, but that's not the case. So now we're going to return a string. So let's change this to string. You see the error went away. So what I can do now, I have this in my function. I can get rid of that, and I can call the function to run once we get an answer from our user. So I could do the same thing for each if statement. We'll try again here. Try again. So let's test our code to see if it works. Do Control F5. What is your name? I'm not going to type anything. Okay, that still works. Let's say dad. Where are you from? I'm from here. Well, let's not type anything. Okay, that still works. I'm from here. What is your birth month? I'm not going to type anything. That still works. So our code is still working. That's good. That's good. So let's identify more duplicate code that we can optimize. So we have 3 if statements. Can we get rid of those? We absolutely can. Well, let's not say get rid of, but we can definitely move this to our function since this code is being repeated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Bring this down to my function. And since this is in my function now, I need to provide a return. And we're going to call this an answer since we asked the user a question. Also, what we can do is we're calling the variable or the answer to our question every time. So we can bring that function down, or this line of code, to our function as well. So let's cut that. bring this down to our function. Control V, call that answer. We still need to name our variable up here. So in our variable, we're going to call the function try again. So this actually should say answer. So I can get rid of the if statement here. I can get rid of this line of code here. Again, we're going to create our variable for the city and call our function. I'm going to do the same thing here. Get rid of this. Bring this over to line up. Call our variable. So we just got rid of a lot of duplicate code. When I run this, we should get the same results. So let's run the program. So what is your name? I didn't type anything. So Dad, where are you from? I didn't type anything. I'm from here. What is your birth month? I didn't type anything. Look at this. This is wonderful. Your name is Dad. You are from here. Your birth month is September. And you are a Virgo. This is awesome. So to reiterate, what we did is we had a lot of line of code that was duplicate code. It asked the same questions, the same type of questions over and over again, which made our code longer and more convoluted than what it needed to be. So what we did is we created a function that ran those tasks when called, so we didn't have to keep writing that line of code. So in this function, it was a void, which didn't return anything, but we noticed that once we updated our code, we had to return a value, and we returned a value of a string. We noticed that every time we asked the user for a question, we had to type in or display the answer. So in the function, if that's a repeated process, we created that variable called the answer because we asked that user a question called the read line. And if the user provided an answer or did not provide an answer, in this case it was blank, then we would show you didn't type anything, please try again. If they did provide an answer, then we'll return the constant read line of what they typed, which will return the answer. So learning about functions is super cool. You might wonder why I took the long way of upgrading my code. The reason why I did that is the thought process of how you go about your code. Even before you start writing your code, you should write down a block diagram or a paragraph what you want your program to do. And then you can start looking at processes that might not need to be in your program, or you'll start to see a pattern of things or code that's repeated, and you can create a function to repeat those tasks that's needed. But this has definitely been a fun project for functions. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And again, this C# video is not for you, it's for me. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.